Welcome to the 2017 Kool Kids Training College School Based Traineeships Program webinar. Over the next 15 minutes, the agenda is going to be a little bit about the training college, about the School Based Traineeship Program, career pathways, the application process, and what to expect and what's next. Here's the Kool Kids Training College team out the front of our Southport headquarters. And as you can see there in the top right-hand corner of the slide is our 5 core values: professionalism, quality, team, trust, and wow. And the wow is all about student experience, and it's what we live and breathe here at the training college, delivering excellence in training and exceeding our students' expectations, delivering wow in every training experience that we are involved with. Hello, my name's Sam Hindra. I'm a director at Kool Kids Training College, and I firmly believe that today's trainees are tomorrow's children's services leaders. Kool Kids Training College is a Queensland-based RTO, or registered training organisation, and we specialise in the Certificate III and Diploma of Early Childhood Education and Care. We train across 5 great Queensland locations, and we've also most recently started training in New South Wales, northern New South Wales. So what makes us different? Well, firstly, we specialise in the delivery of the Certificate III in Early Childhood Education and Care in schools. We don't offer any other courses. We focus on the Certificate III in Early Childhood Education and Care. So you're working and training with a specialist RTO, and also one that effectively walks the talk in the early learning sector, with 12 Kool Kids Early Learning Centres in South East Queensland, where we're very well known for our high standards in running early learning centres. Importantly, in the training aspect of the delivery of this program, we have high levels of contact with our students. So the program features a 70-minute class every week, and at a minimum, when you're out doing your on-the-job or your work placement, we visit our students every 3 weeks at a minimum to do the on-the-job assessment. And I'll talk a little bit more later on about that. So we know the early learning sector, we deliver results, we're very focused on completions and progressing and helping our students get to their end game of completing their course and finishing, obviously, the Certificate III qualification, and setting them up really for the option of progressing that as a career when leaving school. We care and we're trusted by our students. We do share the learning journey. There's a lot of empathy and understanding because we've been doing this for a few years now. Our trainers are very well versed with working with your 16, 17-year-old school-based trainee, and some of the challenges that these students face in terms of their workload, their school training, school education, their out-of-hours sports and other activities. So we're very cognizant of supporting students and seeing that through the full 12 months. Or more. We do focus on relationships with those students and schools and their parents, and that starts with our induction process, the applications, the briefings we do with schools and with parents, which will happen pre-students going into the program. And most importantly, we do love what we do. Here's just some of the trainers that are at the training college, some of which are in the school-based traineeships program. What you can see as a common feature of these trainers is many years of experience in the sector. Many who have started, like some of the school-based trainees, started with their Certificate III, started by then entering the workforce and progressing their way through leadership positions in early learning centres, and then progressing to trainers and assessors. And we really do firmly believe that our trainers are awesome. And the relationship that our students have with our trainers is a really, really positive one. We see it at graduation. We see the hugs and kisses and a lot of the empathy and really hard work that many of our students go through to complete their certificates or diplomas if they're outside of school. And these guys really do go above and beyond. So they're a great team, and we truly do believe they are awesome. All right, let's talk a little bit about the the SATs in a bit more focus. Here's a fact from the Queensland Government's Next Step report in 2008. And it says young people who undertake an SAT were more likely to be working full-time or undertaking further education or training than young people who do not undertake SAT. So it's an interesting and very important fact to take note of. And the fact that we now, within vocational education, have the opportunity for students to do your Cert 3s and Cert 2s and other qualifications while still at school is a great thing. It really does position you very well for post-school employment. So in detail, the school-based apprenticeships and traineeships, or what we shorten down to SATs, it allows students, typically in years 10 through 12, to study for their QCE, work for an employer, earn a wage, and train towards a recognised vocational qualification whilst completing high school. An SAT can support a student's transition from school to work. Completed traineeships can contribute up to 8 credits for Certificate III qualifications. So the SAT program, in some more detail, this is where we deliver training every week at school in a 70-minute class. So students attend the class with one of our qualified trainers, goes for 70 minutes, and you work through the theory of the units in the Certificate III. Trainers in close contact with students over the course of training, offering phone, email support, along with on-the-job assessment. So in the workplace, as I mentioned before, coming through every 3 weeks and doing that workplace assessment. The relationship is focused on keeping students motivated, keeping the study momentum going. The SATs are required to complete a minimum of 50 days in the workplace, and ideally that's 1 day a week, and that's the way we structure the program in conjunction with the schools. 1 day of paid employment per week, in addition to the 70-minute class that we come into the school and offer. And the trainer, in addition to all the support, mentoring, coaching, marks all the assessment materials. We'll send to you a copy of our course guides, but you can see 7 clusters, 18 units in the Certificate III. And each unit has 2 key components to it to get a competency or to obtain a competency. The first is the theory. So students do their assignment work, they're working off their laptop. We load the units through a USB, and they progressively learn the theory through their class time attendance, as well as doing their homework, and they submit their units or the theoretical side of their assessments to their students, to their trainers directly. The trainers then, in addition to marking their theory, then want to see that the student fully understands the theory and is able to display that understanding in the workplace. So that's where we do the workplace assessment, and trainers will come into the centre, observe the students, give feedback, and obviously assess to gain a competency. So to get a competency or a pass, effectively you need both those elements, the theory and the workplace assessment, to get a satisfactory result. Should there be any gaps in the learning, or maybe the theory was okay, but the workplace assessment wasn't quite at the standard, then there's a resubmit process that can be undertaken. Trainers will outline all of this and develop up a training plan with the students in the first week of their commencement with the traineeship program. So career pathways, what does all this lead to? Well, the Certificate III in Early Childhood Education and Care is the mandatory qualification that all employees, workers in the early childhood sector must be undertaking or have completed in order to work, most notably in an early learning centre. The outcome of studying this course are the roles that you can see on the screen there. So early childhood educators, outside school hour care assistants, playgroup supervisors, rec assistants, family daycare workers, and nannies. So how to apply? We'll step through that in just a moment and the mechanics of that. What I will say in terms of this program is that obviously it is a comprehensive training program. It is for students that are, even at this stage of year 10, 11, are pretty clear that education, and in particular early childhood education, is the career pathway that they want to explore further. We've had a lot of success with students who've gone through the program, completed school, and then have come back into the sector and are now working in an early learning centre environment off the back of qualifying with their Certificate III. Many have gone on or are going on and completing their diplomas as well. And there is an educational pathway that even goes higher than the diploma level, and that is through our articulation with Griffith University, where students can go on and complete or be entered into particularly Bachelor of Education qualifications, having completed in particular the diploma level qualification that we offer. So the pathway can be Cert 3 at school, start to get some work experience, completing school, getting employment in the sector, completing your diploma, getting credits for that diploma as well. There's 11 credits that you get having completed the Cert 3, and then using that to further your education at a point in time in the future to into those bachelor level qualifications. So really good stepping stone into higher education, starting with your Cert 3 in this traineeship program. All right, so how to apply? So the 2017 SAT applications will be taken via an application form. The application form will be sent to all students who have registered for this webinar. Generally, that's within 24 hours. Applications close for the SAT program on 30th September, and students will be advised by the end of October, or possibly earlier, of the status of their application. So if you're watching this webinar by now, you should have an application. If you have registered, that is, on our website at kktc.com.au. If you don't have an application, then certainly you can email the college, or alternatively speak with your careers or industry liaison officers at school, many of whom will have copies of the application to give to you. So the applications, there's limited places in the 2017 SAT program, and the quality of your application is very, very important. On the application form, you'll see there are 5 key questions. First question is outline 3 reasons why you want to secure a 2017 SAT traineeship. You need to also tell us what your career ambitions are. You need to tell us what your expectations are with the program. And also just outline what you think it would be like to work in an early learning centre. And then fifthly, so we get a well-rounded view of you as a person, tell us a little bit about yourself. What are you passionate about? And I suppose the key thing here is really that passion, that drive, that willingness to really commit yourself to a pretty comprehensive program. So we're talking about 18 units, 1 day a week one day a week in centre, and a 70-minute class every week. So in addition to the core curriculum that you're studying and the other activities that you have both in school and outside of school, this is quite a big commitment. So we'd like to be upfront with that, and we certainly, with our trainers and all the program elements, will certainly be supporting you. But think very carefully about what your ambitions are, your core motivations for wanting to do the traineeship, and what your expectations are with the traineeship as well, and that'll help us evaluate. So to give you an example, last year we had what looked on paper a very good application, and the student, when we got to what are your career ambitions, this particular student said that they wanted to be a photographer. Now, although photography in some aspects will be helpful, it's not really a clear vision of I want to work in early education, I want to be an educator, and that's what we're really looking to see with applications. So think long and hard, talk with your parents, talk with the school teachers, etc., but make the right choice about going through this program, because the greater majority of students that get into the program successfully work through the program and come out the back end with a qualification because they started with a very clear understanding of why they wanted to do it. So really ask yourself those questions. So following the review of applications, those that are successful will then undertake a 2-day trial in a centre in mid-November. Okay, so that's the 2-stage process of application. Written application, then those who get through that process, we then put you into a 2-day trial in a centre, early learning centre, in mid-November. And we will give the centre manager an evaluation sheet to observe and to give us feedback, and then they answer one question at the end of that evaluation sheet about your performance, and that is, would you recommend this student for a traineeship, yes or no? And so those that are marked yes, obviously get into the program, and we move forward then to start that in the first week back into school in 2017. So what will a day in a centre be like? Firstly, you need to get ready to be creative. There'll be lots of fun, there'll be lots of hard work, there'll be lots of play, there'll be lots of smiles. You can see the quote there from one of our students from a couple of years ago. And again, I'd restate, it's a great sector. The joy of working with children is second to none compared to many occupations that you can look for. It is hard work though. It's not just about playing with children. It's building your skills and capabilities as an educator of young children. And the role that educators today play in this environment is very, very important. I hope that helps in really defining what the expectations will be. But certainly there's a lot of enjoyment, a lot of fun, but it is hard work. And some of the demands of the job, are not for everyone. So from that perspective, again, think long and hard about putting in an application unless you're, 100% clear that this is a field that you're wanting to get into. Okay, some questions. So the first question, how much does an SAT or does the program cost? Well, it is fully funded, so it doesn't cost anything. So there's no parental contribution, no school contribution, which is a great feature of the program. But what it does illustrate is, is the government and the sector's commitment to nurturing and growing future employees, future educators to the sector. And it is a priority one funded area because of the demand for early educators in Australia at the moment. And the statistics are quite impressive in terms of the growth in the sector, the growth in employment. Obviously, as you only see it when you're driving around, the number of centres that are opening up and the demands to have both parents or single parent families, working. And as a result, the demand for childcare flows on from there. So when does it start? So the applications, as we said, close 30 September. We'll be notifying over the next sort of 4 weeks from that period, and then we'll be doing those 2-day trials in mid-November. And if you get through those trials, then you will start in the first or maybe the second week back from school, February 2017. Trial I've outlined in some detail. The work, the centres will be close to home. We try and map, according to where you live, a centre that is close to home. We can't always accommodate that, but we do try and make it as convenient as possible. Classes, 1 a week, 70-minute class, and that'll be timetabled for you. The application process I've outlined. Your responsibilities are the same as any employee. You're treated as a young adult, albeit that you are a student. You're not expected to know everything, but you'll be inducted by your employer, and your responsibilities will be the same as any other employee. Your employer's responsibilities, again, will be pretty standard, but, occupational health and safety, code of conduct. There are a range of things that your employer will induct you and outline for you so that you're clear on your responsibilities and also the employer's responsibilities in that relationship. The support you'll get from Kool Kids Training College will be extensive. Your trainer, obviously, week in, week out, seeing you in the school, seeing you in the centres every 3 weeks, and being available, phone, email, certainly SMS support. The trainers really do go above and beyond. So you'll get a lot of support from them. And if you ever need any higher level support, you want to come to certainly the college, talk with anyone here. If an issue that you may have needs further clarification or help, then my role as college manager, happy to always be made available for you. The hours are standard working hours, a 7.5 hour day, 7.5 hour working day. Most students start at 8:30, but the centres will work that through with you pre your induction. Pay rates are according to the award, so that will also be outlined in the briefing sessions that we'll be running pre-commencement. And what happens if I don't like it and want to cancel? Well, hopefully by the time you've watched this webinar, you've spoken maybe to other students that have been through the program, you've spoken with your teachers, most of whom we have great relationships with, and we're able to jump on a phone, clarify any issue that you might have or questions. But we're hopeful that once you get through the trial, you've seen what it's like. In 2 days, you'll work out whether you like it or not. At that point in time, you can make the decision, look, I've done the 2 days. I don't think it's quite ready. I'm quite ready for it. That's okay. However, majority of students do the 2 days and go, I love it. I hope I'm successful and get into the program. But if you happen to need to cancel during the course of the year for any reason, we just had a student in the last couple of weeks that's been through the program this year. It's got quite well advanced in it, but family reasons, they're moving interstate. So there is an ability to cancel, but hopefully it won't be for anything other than, a circumstance that's beyond your control. We want to be clear up front. This is what the program involves. This is what you can expect. And hopefully once you're in it, you'll love it. This is Penny, our first graduate, and talking about the training as an amazing learning journey. And really what we're on about is forging career success and delivering employable skills. So the program, the traineeship is really about setting you up for a future career development, giving you a nationally accredited qualification before you're leaving school, and also learning all those life skills that are really important at an age before you're leaving school, and the routine of work and the disciplines that come with that. So certainly career development and delivering employable skills that help you on that journey into adulthood are really core to this program. All right, so from here, you'll get an application form. Please complete it, have it to us by 30 September. On the application form, you'll see the email address that it has to come through to. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to give me a call, Sam Hendry, College Manager, at the Southport number there. I'd be happy to answer any questions, and I look forward to getting through a good number of applications from you. And certainly your teaching staff is available should you have any questions also. So thanks for listening.